but my boobs are fine. Like, my breasts are not sore. I'm just really tired all the time. And I've been feeling, I haven't told you this, but I've been feeling like a little bit nauseous the last like few days. Like, I'll be sitting in bed and then I'll suddenly be like that. Like, I'll feel like really like,
She's pregnant.
I think I might be. Could be pregnant, guys.
Am I in a frame? Okay, good. Stories from M&R. Check out my mic.
It's a back scratching.
Yep. It's a DIY mic holder.
He's being summoned by my
Yeah,
parents.
I gotta help my in-laws. So
Okay, I'm gonna be fast. Me and the mic. I'm sorry, I can't sit straight, guys. It's just I'm sideways because there's a belly. You guys can't see the belly. Here's the belly. We're at 36 weeks today. Yesterday, we got pregnant in December. Okay, on the second successful cycle of taking letrozole, which is just an ovulation medication. And then we saw baby in the first week of Jan. Okay, we didn't see baby. The first scan, we saw the yolk sac, but there was no fetus inside. And then the doctor said that it's probably just that I ovulated late, and so it's too early. So predicted like 4 weeks, and so that's a bit too early to see fetal pole and baby and all that. So we went back 2 weeks later, saw the sac and saw the baby, but there was no heartbeat. So again, or maybe it's too early, come back in 2 weeks. So the whole of Jan was really like an emotional roller coaster because
anxiety month.
yeah, so we had to go back every 2 weeks. Then the last 2 weeks that we went back, which was on the 4th of Feb, we had a really crackerty sonographer, basically. So she just told us that. Oh no, she was really nice. The one before that was crackerty. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust myself because my leg is just. One moment. Pregnancy things. Okay. So we were told that the baby hadn't grown from the previous appointment, which was 2 weeks earlier, and so on the 4th of Feb, we were told that we had had a missed miscarriage, which basically just means that the miscarriage happened prior to us coming in for the appointment. I had some bleeding, like leading up to that appointment, but it was very erratic and it was very it wasn't much. And so my friend was like, oh, it's fine, like, don't worry. And we were going to see the doctor on the 4th. And so we just waited for the appointment. And then, so we were told that, and the doctor gave us 3 options. One was to wait for the body to naturally expel the pregnancy. 2 was to take medication. The first one would have taken anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. The second one was to take medication. So they give you medication in clinic, which is to stop your HCG hormones. Then they give you a medication. You have to be admitted 2 days later, and they'll basically insert a medication every 4 hours to encourage the miscarriage to happen until it's all cleared, and then you get to go home. The third option was a D&C, which is basically a surgical procedure where they go in and they scrape out all the fetal material. So obviously the third one wasn't an option because the doctor also said that I'm quite early along, so there's no need for that. The first one, which is the most natural, but I didn't want to be pregnant without being pregnant, like feel all the hormones and not be pregnant. And also we didn't know how long it would take, so I didn't want to be like at work and then suddenly experience the miscarriage. So we decided for the second one, and then so on the spot, like, she gives you the pill and the like water, and so that's supposed to stop your hormones, to stop the pregnancy from continuing. And then we were scheduled, that was a Friday the 4th of Feb 2022. And then we were scheduled to come in. I was scheduled to come in to be admitted because it just so happened that period was going to come up because of COVID. So we were supposed to come, I was supposed to be admitted on the 6th to hospital. And yeah, like, that's what happened. I think now we can talk about it without being completely like heartbroken about it. Obviously it's still really painful to talk about, but yeah, that's what happened. But I actually experienced cramping the day after at home, and it was quite bad cramping, like in the front, in the back, and then there was a lot of blood and tissues and stuff coming out. And I think about like 11 or 12 o'clock that day, um, which I didn't know at the time. It was only when we met the doctor and I told the doctor what I had experienced that the doctor believes that I expelled a passed out baby on my own at home, in the toilet, like on a pad. And yeah, we could see like the embryo, the yolk sac, like the amniotic sac and everything. And then I just had cramping. So the next day when I went into hospital, they didn't have to put in any medication because they believed that I had naturally miscarried on my own at home. So I was just kept in hospital for about 12 hours for monitoring. They checked that the uterus was clear, that I didn't have to do any further procedures. I got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I was sent home. And I was given a week off work. Then I asked for 3 more days because I wasn't ready to go back to work. And then we only started trying again like after the first cycle. Like you have to wait for your period to come back after that bleeding, and then you can try the following cycle. Yeah, but for us traditionally we have confinement periods, so I actually had to go through like a shortened confinement period, like a mini confinement period, because your body still went through like the emotions of being pregnant and all the distress and stuff. So I think I did like 2 to 3 weeks of confinement. Obviously after the first week I had to go back to work, but food, lotions, all that I had to keep up with at home, keep myself warm. And yeah, so we only started trying in May or April. I think April. Took about a month for my period to come back. Yeah, so we started trying in April, and then in June we got pregnant again.
Okay, so mind the background noise.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
some cleaning going on. So
Household cleaning,
yeah, if you hear some clinging and clanging in the back, it's
just background music.
yes. Okay, I'm just gonna finish this up.
Yeah,
I gotta go help my in-laws, and can you help share them about this as well?
sure.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, so we got pregnant in June. We were really upset because we didn't get to see our doctor immediately after that, like Dr. Jerry, who's been our fertility doctor. And the other doctor that we saw after the miscarriage for a follow-up, she was like, oh, you can only take letrozole for like 1 or 2 more times. And that stressed me out because I didn't want to go through any invasive procedures just yet. But we met our doctor and he was saying like, I can continue on letrozole for however long I want. Like, honestly, it's up to me. And then when I'm ready to move on to the next procedure, then I can. And we didn't realize actually that when we met the doctor on the 30th of June, I was already pregnant. I was already pregnant, probably like a week. No, we were about to get pregnant. Sorry, the 23rd of June was the day of my last period, so we were about to get pregnant like a week later. And I think a few things went into that. Successful pregnancy, obviously God's will. The medication helped, but we had also just come back from KL, and that was the first time since the miscarriage and trying for baby and all that we really had a break, and I was really able to just not think about anything, enjoy the time with Muaz and my parents, and like reunite with loved ones and all that. And I really felt so refreshed when I came back. I made an intention to do everything that I was doing back in November when we were trying. Go back to see my chiro, do all the workouts and stuff like that. And we got pregnant 2 or 3 weeks later. And that's obviously a separate video. But yeah, that was June/July 2022. And now we are literally a couple weeks away from giving birth, if not 1 to 2 weeks away from giving birth. Moaz wanted me to show you this. I got this for his birthday. It's basically just a commemoration of Little Bean. We called our first pregnancy Little Soybean. So it's just the NASA's capture of like the sky or the meteor or whatever for that date. So you can find that information online. Like you just put in NASA stars or something, NASA capture, and then you put in the date and it comes up with what their picture of the day was for that day. So this one's the 17th of December, which is when we found out we were pregnant. This one's on the 4th when we first saw soybean. And then this one's on 4th of Jan and then 4th of June when we found out we were having a miscarriage. So I got this for him for his birthday, and also for us just to have as a memento. We also got a little box. I feel like as part of my closure, I got a little like wooden box, and we put all of baby's sonograms, appointments, receipts into that box. Not to forget about baby, but it was also just really difficult for me to move on. And that was, I felt like, something to help me with just a little bit of closure for that chapter. And yeah, um, personally, how did I handle it? I'm sure Moaz has his own story about it, but I took it really, really hard. It was really difficult for me to talk about it, to think about it. Work was, I know people say like work's a distraction, but I really went into work because I had to, and then that was it. Like, it wasn't a distraction for me. I did, after a couple months, reach out to a grief therapist because I felt like I was spiraling. And it's a really weird place to be because you're not alone. I had a lot of support, alhamdulillah. My family, Moaz, friends. But even with all the physical support, you really do feel very, very much alone. Because nobody really understands. Everyone's just trying to say nice things that really don't help. And through no fault of their own. So I went through a grief therapist, and I had, I think, 4 or 5 sessions with her, and she was really helpful. Yeah, I saw her again when I got pregnant, and then at the end of my first trimester, because our first trimester was pretty rough, and I'll probably talk to her again before we give birth, just to navigate the feelings and the thoughts and the processes of becoming a new mum. Yeah, so I know it seems like very lighthearted now that I'm talking about it, but it's taken a really long time, and it's taken a lot of work for us to get to this point, and for me to get to this point. If you had asked me about it even like a year ago, I wouldn't be at this point where, or 6 months ago, I would be at this point where I was like, I'll be able to talk about it openly and freely. And I think there's not many support groups that fit what I wanted post miscarriage. There are a lot of support groups, but just none that really made me feel comforted. So those of you who have gone through miscarriage, I salute you, especially those who've gone through multiple miscarriages. Those who are still continuing to try for baby, like, keep at it. I know it's really difficult. Yeah, and hopefully one day we get to see our babies again. If that's something you believe in, that's something I want to believe in. That, you know, God's keeping him or her close, and then one day we'll be reunited. And so that makes me happy. Yeah. So that's the end of the sharing. Just gonna wait for Moz because I can't be bothered to press the button. Oh, maybe I will get up and press.